Welcome to this Burst Blast instructional video brought to you by Agile Dragon Group. To see this video and others, join the Dragon Den. Remember, in for Burst, it's all we do.
In this lesson, we're going to discuss how to work with folders inside of a burst space. Each burst space has a catalog or a folder structure. This is not dissimilar to a folder structure that you may have created on your own computer. A catalog within Burst, out of the box, always has two default folders, a private folder and a shared folder. Each Burst user has their own instance of a private folder. Additional folders, which are also known as subfolders, can be created within a private folder or within the shared folder. Folders in Burst are used to store and share assets such as dashboards and visualizations. When we create folders, users, space groups, or account groups can be added to the folders so that we can distribute the assets within those folders to those particular users or groups. Assets, such as dashboards and reports, can also be moved between folders. This is handy when you're working on a report or dashboard, but you're not yet ready to share it with another user. In that instance, you would save the asset to your private folder until you're ready to share the asset, and then you would move it to a shared folder. And then when it's moved to the shared folder, it's shared with the users that belong to that folder. In order to access the catalog, first navigate to a burst space of your choosing, and then choose the catalog icon, which is highlighted in the screenshot. Once you click on catalog, you're taken to the screen that you'll see here, where you can search for assets, you can access the private folder or the shared folder. When you're searching for assets, you can search based on a time frame, you can search based on the last modified user, or you can search by tags. We'll discuss tags in a later lesson. Also, I want to point out that in the long horizontal red box, you can even narrow down your search by asset type, such as by a folder, or by a collection, or by dashboards, which is helpful when you're looking for a specific item. Also, on the left-hand side of the catalog, you see that you have the private folder and the shared folder. Simply select on either one to navigate within that folder structure. You can create new folders by first selecting either shared or private. Once you make that selection, then choose the new folder icon in the upper right-hand side of the screen, which is indicated here with the red box, and then you're prompted to enter a name of the folder that you're creating. Please note, though, that the new folders will inherit the sharing from the parent folder. So for example, if the parent folder is shared with all users, then your new folder will also be shared with all users. When you're sharing a folder, after you've created the new folder, you get to determine who has access to that particular folder. And this is where you can change the access beyond what is set in the parent folder. To share a folder, simply go to the right-hand side of the folder and click the Share button, which is highlighted here with the red box. When you're adding groups or users to a folder, you get to determine whether they have edit access to the folder or read-only access to the folder. As you may guess, if somebody has edit access to a folder, they can make edits to things inside of that folder, assuming their permissions allow them to make edits to those items. If you make somebody read only to a folder, then they can only look at items within that folder. Another handy option when you're creating folders is to use the drop-down arrow that is to the right of each individual user when you are adding users to a folder. Indicated here with the red box, if you click that icon, what that will do is it will pass the folder permissions down through subfolders that are within the folder that you're working on. There are also more options when you're working with folders. If you notice in the image, there's a red box around this down arrow. When you click the down arrow to the right of any asset, you can copy, move, rename, or delete that particular asset with the More Options button. Now let's take a look at this inside of Burst, and you'll see how easy this is to work with. I'm now logged into my instance of Burst, where I'm presented with a list of all of the spaces that I have access to. I have a simple demo space here that I'm going to select, and once I select that, I'm then taken to this screen where I can choose the catalog icon. As we saw in the slides, I have the ability to search for assets. I can access my private folder, or I can access the shared folder. If I want to create a new folder within the shared folder, I'm first selected on the shared folder, and then I choose the new folder icon. I'm going to give this folder a name, just simply call this new folder, and click Create. And as soon as I do that, I will get a new folder that pops into the space, and I do want to remember that it's going to inherit the sharing of its parent folder, which is the shared folder. However, when I find my new folder, if I click on the share icon, I'm then presented with a screen where I can share to space groups, account groups, or search for individual users. You can see that my name is here, and I currently have edit access, but if I chose to make myself only be able to read, I simply make that selection. Now, if there were subfolders within my new folder, and I wanted to pass these permissions down to every subfolder within the folder I'm working on, all I would do is click this icon here on the right that says Apply to Subfolders. Once you're finished sharing, you simply click Done. Additionally, we have this drop-down arrow here that says More Options. So when I click that arrow, I have the ability to copy a folder, to move the folder, to rename it, or to delete it. Also, when you're working within a folder, if I click on my new folder, you'll notice a button in the upper right, which allows me to upload files, which are PNG, GIF, or JPEG. But since I have this new folder, now that I have access to it, if I'm creating a dashboard or if I'm creating a visualization, this new folder will now be an option as a location for me to save the asset that I'm building. So to recap, the folder structure within Burst isn't that much different than a folder structure that you would have on your computer. We're using it for a location to save items, and we're also using it as a way to control who has access to the items that I save within that folder. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us. Please check back here often as we will continue to add new assets to the Circle community.
Like this video? See it and others like it in the Dragon Den. The Dragon Den is Agile Dragon Group's free Burst community and knowledge base. Just follow the QR code on your screen and apply for access. I look forward to seeing you in the den. Have a good day.